All right, word on the street is that there is a Saab dealership up here in the middle of Massachusetts that has not been demolished. Apparently, it still has a couple of cars on the showroom floor. It's got everything still left in there. We're gonna see if we can go find it.
All right, check this out. See what this is all about. Should be coming up to it here in a second. No way. Look at that. That is crazy. Look at this place, man. This is nuts. Everything's just like trapped in time here. You got the Saab out front. You still got the Saab on the dealer floor on the inside of the building. You got all the service desks, all the Saab promotional stuff. This is really, really cool. Never thought I'd see something like this, so it's pretty interesting. Very, very interesting.
All right, so you guys blew this video up, and the main comment I saw was, what is the history behind this dealer and what is it still used for? So it turns out it actually is more use than you'd think. So the building is actually still owned by the original owners of that Saab dealer. Now, after Saab went belly up in 2011, they actually kept the dealer open for a few months for service and parts and stuff like that. But after a little while, it just didn't make sense financially to keep open. Now, the owner of that Saab dealership actually owned a Subaru dealership down the road as well called Village Subaru until they sold it, and it is now renamed McGovern Subaru. At some point after the dealership was sold, the original owners of the Saab dealer rented out their space to the Subaru dealer for overflow cars, which is why you saw all the new Subarus in the video when I pulled up. However, McGovern Subaru does not have access to the building. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Like I said before, the entire property is still owned by the original owners of the Saab dealer, and they actually store some of their cars from their personal car collection inside of that showroom, which is why you see that Porsche 993 in the showroom that like 1,000 different people pointed out. However, according to Jake from Bay State Cards, who has purchased a few cars from that Subaru dealer and actually asked about the old Saab dealer when he was there, and he told me that the Subaru dealer is actually moving across town to a larger location and they'll have no more need for an overflow lot. So the future of this Saab dealer is certainly up in the air. But if you ask me, when I went there, the place was maintained beautifully and it was kept in great condition. It's clearly owned by someone who cares a lot about cars and preserving their history, and I can't imagine an enthusiast like that would let something like this destroy an amazing piece of automotive history.
Welcome to a Saab dealership that still exists right here in Northern Ireland. Yep, your eyes do not deceive you. It is 2025 and we're right outside this Saab dealership. Now, it looks like a dealership. It is now exclusively obviously a service area, but they have this, which I believe is one of the final 9.5s ever made, finished in white. We have my black 9.5 right here outside. Right here we got a black 900S convertible. Ivan Wilson Saab. You can see this is the exact Saab dealer that my car was bought new from. But just to see an old Saab dealership actually sort of operating is so cool. Obviously, yes, it just is operating in the service space, but this dealership is still used. It still has Saabs in it. A whole host of 9.5s and 9.3s. And this has been a Saab dealer since 1977. Before I bought that car, I hadn't seen a 9.5 NG in about 10 years. And this morning I've just seen 3 other ones. You can see you have all the little Saab dealer magazines over there. You've also got a Saab service reception desk as it was in period. Got little offices where you would expect your brand new Saab, and that's very nice. Looks like a well-used 9.5. This is a very similar spec to mine, except this is the twin turbo one and it has the different wheels, but I do prefer my wheels. Let's go, as if we are picking up our brand new Saab from the dealership. That is so cool. But yeah, that was awesome to see. This is at Wilson's Fuels here in Coleraine. If I want to get a replacement one of those, it is $700. 2 months ago, I made the bright decision to buy a car from a car company that hasn't existed in 15 years. I'm of course talking about Saab. And this one in particular was their final encore, the 2011 Saab 9.5. Now, as soon as I bought this car, I was inundated with messages, mainly covering 2 topics. Number 1, we love Saabs, we want to keep them on the road. And number 2, oh my goodness, good luck with parts. So just how bad has it been?
Well, I've covered over 2,000 miles in this car in the last 2 months, and it really hasn't been too bad. Okay, it does have quite a bad coolant leak, which will cost a lot to get repaired, but Thankfully, all of the parts are Vauxhall and readily available.
But moving on to the interior in this thing, I cannot stress how much the 9.5 has impressed me. It is not like an Insignia in the back of this car. They actually made the chassis over 100 millimeters longer than that platform in order to accommodate for more legroom. But also, the finishings in this thing are nothing like anything GM was putting out back in the day. You got all this beautiful brushed aluminium that apparently was one of the main things pushed by the Spyker Supercar Company CEO whenever they took over Saab, because it kind of mimicked some of the stuff that you saw in the likes of the Spyker C8 Elron. I love the little central armrest with the two cup holders. You've got a little storage area here, and like any good Saab, you've got this central tunnel here so you can access anything and everything in the boot. In fact, from about here is where all the similarities with the Insignia completely end. The roofline is completely different in this car. The curved windscreen, the whole architecture of it, completely different. The rear of this car, very different, because the Insignia, of course, was a hatchback. This is a saloon. Apart from some aspects like the indicators and a few bits of the switchgear, there really isn't much of the Insignia left at all. And they, of course, even developed their own jet fighter style tack on this thing, which just looks spectacular. You have all of the night mode features and the start-stop button down here. It was all Saab's doing to make this thing really feel like a completely different car. I will say there has been one quite expensive problem that comes up whenever I do this. That taillight should be unlocking like that. And when I turn the car on, you can see the 9.5 comes with this beautiful light bar that ends right here.
Now, I have found a genius makeshift way of sorting this problem out.
There we go. Problem, of course, is that I don't want to do that every 30 seconds while I'm driving around in this car. And if I want to get a replacement one of those, it is £700 online. That's a pretty common thing. If you want to replace this entire light bar section, you're looking at towards £2,000. Thankfully, the Saab community is a great one, and there's actually someone that has reached out saying that I can get the LED taillight conversion from him effectively for free. And from my experience, that is what the Saab community is like. Everyone is willing to help one another out to keep these cars on the road, and that is such a wonderful thing. So was it worth it to own this car after 2 months? Hell yeah.
Welcome to Italy and Zanetti Saab, and here you can see something you don't see every day. Here they have a Saab Unlimited showroom, and it's 2024. Here we have a brand new Saab 9.3, and here we have also a brand new Saab 9.5. We also have everything as the Saab Unlimited, you know, with the reception desk and a yellow B Omega bicycle, a Saab bike, non-existent. Also have the Saab airplane seats, and here you have the sales desk. Everything is genuine from the Saab time. This is so cool. It's like traveling back in time to a better time where Saab existed. So please make sure you subscribe and give a thumbs up.